I'm a very sentimental person.
This has been a real deep podcast.
I didn't mean it to be so. The deafest darling.
That was not funny.
Oh!
It's the traditional hero arc. You want to see them struggle.
There's no heroes here.
No.
On.
No.
And I still think to this day that they probably are still, thrusting around in the dark, so to speak.
I think, no, don't.
Hello everybody, how are we all tonight?
Hello.
Okay, now, tonight we have...
a very angry Pip.
A very angry Pip, yes. We've had a little bit of sound troubles tonight, haven't
No,
we?
that's not why I'm angry.
Oh, why are you angry?
Why do you think I'm angry, Paul? I would like to apologise for anyone who's had to listen to my voice. I'm very sorry. Actually, no. Paul is very sorry.
No, Paul's not sorry.
Paul should be sorry.
Paul will probably end up being sorry by the end of this. Can I say, unless I'm found,
in my defence,
if I'm found and dead with my throat cut, that it was probably worth it. What I'm referring to is, if you haven't already heard, go back and have a look. There's a little bonus of it. It's only like a minute or so, but Pip burst into song, and it was so adorable. I couldn't help myself but to share it.
adorable. My gosh.
That's the word I would choose.
Okay, wow, now I have to go and dig a hole in the backyard and bury myself and never come out ever again.
All right, so what have we got tonight, now that you've got past your...
So, we have a new film and a classic film, but this time you want to do it in a different order. You want to go classic then new.
That's correct, only purely because I lack imagination.
Okay.
Yep. Let's start with Charlie Chaplin.
So our classic film tonight is Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator, which came out in 1940.
1940, that's when it was released, was it?
Yes.
Okay.
So a Jewish barber comes home from hospital after being wounded in service in World War I, which they called the Great War, unaware of the fascist dictator Adenoid Henkel.
Henkel. Yes.
And his rise. The barber is stunned to find his quiet neighbourhood changed to a terrified, brutal war on his Jewish people and tries to continue on as before, but everything goes slightly pear-shaped.
Okay. Now, in the Facebook page for Considered and Conceited, we have a link there for people if they wanted to go off and have a listen to Behind the Bastards. It mentions the historical context of what this movie had been brought up about. Now, I won't bang on about it. I went on about it last week. Suffice to say that it was...
It's relevant.
It's very relevant to this particular movie.
And gives you a bit more of an insight into this movie.
Yes. So if you're starting to go, there's a bit more to these movies than what I was giving them credit for. Because everything happens within the context of the society of which art is produced.
Gosh, that's deep.
Well, I'm surprised it came out of my mouth.
Hey, I was just letting you go for it.
Yeah, well, geez, that always gets me in trouble. All right. Yes. So can I just say though, after listening to that particular podcast, I'd always had a bit of a soft spot for Charlie Chaplin because he was a cello player. But while it sounds like he was the Robin Williams of his day. He had a big moral compass and he was quite happy to put his own resources to that end.
Well, at that time period they had to. They weren't getting support from anywhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's right. Everybody else is just being a greedy bastard. He was actually a stand-up guy. But
we'll leave that for people to go and...
Yes, go and check it out. Look, it's a bit of a... it's not a hard listen. It's a very funny show. But anyway, go and check it out.
So, Paul, what did you think of The Great Dictator?
Well, okay, first of all, there's several problems. Before we even start, comedy is contextual.
Oh, I realise it's a time thing.
So, more than anything else, because when you think about it, drama is eternal. A man and a woman fall in love with each other. If people can hear a certain snoring, it's my son in the bed again. He's just
I was looking across, like father, like son.
And you've stuffed me now. So
You're talking about the comedy.
yes, comedy ages very badly. Generally, it's a rare comedy show that is funny 30 years on. It's an even rarer comedy show that is funny 80 years on. Charlie Chaplin had built himself a career on slapstick, but he was very progressive for his day, extremely progressive for his day.
He was.
Yes. And he funneled that through sympathy for the lowly man.
Yes. No, it was a very interesting film.
Did you laugh?
There were parts of it that I found interesting. And what was funny was there was a couple of little sections that remind... Have you heard of Penn and Teller?
Yes, I have.
Okay, there was
If I could.
Yeah. Now, Teller doesn't talk in his shows.
No.
And Charlie Chaplin, in a lot of this, wasn't speaking.
Right.
Yes, he was speaking in parts, but there's other parts, mostly his comedy parts, where he's not speaking.
Yes.
And there was parts of it where I went, oh, you can see where Charlie Chaplin has actually influenced other
He's
people.
not quite made the transition in his own mind from silent movies, because don't forget, he was running silent movies in the First World War. You know, he was making a name for himself in the late 1917, 1918. So he's slapstick silent, but he's run all the way into talkie films.
But he's directed and written this, and there's some large speaking parts, especially from
Yes.
Garbage.
Yes.
Yeah, so there are a lot of speaking parts, but I guess for him, although he does speak in it, he doesn't use that a lot for his characters.
Yep.
So, because I mean, he uses what he needs to get it to work, and a lot of it, like where he's shaving that guy and the music's playing and he's in time with it.
That was quite cleverly done.
It was very well done. That's what I mean. So there's things where he's really clever in it, and people will get, and I can imagine people back in 1940 having a good old giggle to that.
Okay,
But,
can I quickly just dive in there? Did you find it entertaining? Because I'm actually genuinely curious about that.
I found parts of it entertaining,
Right.
but I found other parts of it dragged a little bit. But I'm putting that down to the fact that it's a 1940 film, and I'm not a 1940 person.
1940 comedy, so it's always going to be problematic off the mark.
But there's the parts where he's actually trying to be slapstick, etc. So, some of that was genuinely, entertaining. But there was other parts of it, like where he's having conversations with Napolini and all those things, where I just found dragged a bit.
Yeah, with the train turning up and shunting forward. And
Well, not even just that, just where they're talking and throwing food at each other. And I thought,
Yep.
there's parts of it, I understand why it's in there and that it would be genuinely funny, but it hasn't. Parts of it haven't aged well, where other parts of it are just always going to be funny because we laugh at slapstick stuff sometimes.
On the whole,
it was what I found really unusual is that it's a 2 hour and 5 minute film. So you've got 2 hours of slapstick stupidity sort of stuff.
Yep.
And then you go through 2 hours of that to get to the last 5 minutes where Charlie Chaplin's giving his big speech. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's just so different. And also that last bit with Hannah. So you don't get it resolved, but you're not supposed to because of what it is. But I'm thinking, you go 2 hours of absolute stupidity to 5 minutes of actual heart and caring and humanity.
Yep.
And it just blew my mind.
I suspect very strongly that he shouldn't be making comedies.
Has he actually made a serious film?
Could have.
Did he ever make one?
I don't know. Honestly.
Because I don't see anything but comedy.
Look, the man himself had a huge soul. There's no if, buts or maybes about that. And he poured all of it into that last speech at the very end.
Well, that's what I mean. He speaks well. He writes well.
Yep.
I don't see how he was only doing comedy.
He's sticking to his shtick.
Yes.
No, he is.
I
But
know, but I just found that weird because you've
It's
gone.
part of the brand. This is Charlie Chaplin.
It was almost like watching something and then getting slapped in the face.
This is the man who perfected the pie in the face. You know,
And it did
Fatty
happen.
Arbuckle and Charlie Chaplin. These are the guys
Yes.
who created the whole slapstick, you know, what everybody else is using today, to
Oh
this
no.
day.
Yes, I know. That's what I mean. I could see parts of what he was doing that was still being implemented today by people. That's what I mean. So you could see that he's influenced so many people. But that's what I mean. It just blew my mind that he could have just such a weird, all over the shop sort of silly movie, and then 5 minutes of actual humanity bleeding.
Now, this is the important question. Would you recommend this to somebody?
Oh, it would have to
You
depend.
can put your caveats in, but you have to state them.
It would have to depend on who it was. I would recommend it to someone who is interested in humanity and things like that. But if someone's just looking for a, blase, whatever, it's not. They're not going to get through
Refer
it.
them to Tag. Yeah. Well, that's what that film is.
That's what I mean. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. There's a couple of people I would. Like my husband hadn't seen it, and he was doing other things because we had people over when I was watching it, and he kept floating over my shoulder to check it out.
Yep.
And he's going, "Is that supposed to be Mussolini?" And I went, "I think it is." And so he was getting more out of it than what I was because he's older and he's more interested in World War II stuff.
Hitler actually saw this movie twice.
I heard that, yes, because it was on the
Yes.
Behind the Bastards podcast.
And I'll just throw a few things in case people are just too lazy to go and check it out. But Hitler actually saw this, and it's not actually known what he thought of it. But he did actually watch it not once but twice. So at least he didn't.
I'm surprised he watched it twice, actually, because watching how Charlie Chaplin played that character that he's based on.
Yep.
I kind of went, "Ooh, surely Hitler wouldn't like that." I mean, surely, like the things where he's going like that. And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh!"
This is a man who had an ego, and before this movie came out, he was quite a fan of Charlie Chaplin's. And
yeah, but the way he portrayed him, I mean, there was some interesting parts, but like when he's snorting at the girls and but showing his, I guess I could see like him going, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm too busy to get my," he's going from one thing to the other. But yeah, I just I don't know. To me, it could have been cut down by an hour.
As
that's
so
just
many
me.
movies can, as any Cary Grant should be. But look, I think this was an important film.
It was incredibly important in its time.
That's why I put it up. And I would recommend people to watch it, not so much to be entertained, but a little bit like Casablanca in that this is an origin film. This is what modern comedy derives itself from. Now, you go back 2 years before that and you've got Bringing Up Baby, which is also a comedy.
That wasn't that funny.
Wasn't funny.
No,
period.
I thought Charlie Chaplin's movie was much funnier.
No, because he had the craft and he developed the craft. That's what I was trying to say to you before. He had developed the craft in silent movies. And I don't think in his own mind that he made the full transition to how to utilise. They were still trying to work out how to be funny on screen without the pie in the face, so to speak, or the kick in the bum. You know what I mean? Like, you can still use that, and they still do it to this day with variations on the theme. But to be able to use wit,
I think he was having
that is a developing art.
I think he was having far too much fun with a fake German speech.
Oh, look.
As he's ripping off herrings, medals and buttons and things.
Look, I'll be honest. There were times, like, Jolly came in and sat and he watched the first 30, 40 minutes sort of thing. And he did not have the same reaction to that as he did with Bringing Up Baby, which was not funny.
No, that's the difference.
Which was trying to be funny. And he was having a good old laugh. Like, it wasn't
there's a couple of parts that make you chuckle even now.
But it's quite
ridiculous.
It's still... But you can see Charlie Chaplin's having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, you're right. Yes. So, look, I don't know if we can really necessarily say a great deal about it, other than I definitely recommend it to watch as a signature film, but I wouldn't necessarily say go and watch it because it's incredibly funny.
No.
Or go and watch it because it's incredibly entertaining. But it does have relevance to today.